and you embezzled his property. Soon the noise attracted the neighbors, pointing fingers at me. I was like a vicious mistress. I killed his son and embezzled his property. My mother-in-law was very pleased with the situation. I argued with a red face. Mom, I didn't. It's your son who cheated on me. He has an illegitimate child. My family bought the house. I'm the designated beneficiary of the insurance money. I won't give up. You bitch. My grandson is not a bastard. I'll beat you to death. You bitch. She jumped on me and hit me again. I'm a cripple, so I couldn't fight her. I didn't fight back. It didn't fit the image of me as a weakling who'd been bullied. A good Samaritan called the police. I had multiple injuries. I don't even need medical report. The blood was visible to the naked eye. The police told me, if we do a diagnosis of injuries, according to my injuries, my mother-in-law will be detained for 15 days. She'll be fined 500 yuan. She'll be out in 15 days. That's the short. When I didn't answer, she jumped up and tried to hit me again. She said I killed her son, taking her money. She wouldn't let her live. She wanted to beat me to death, but the police stopped them. I was threatened. I could only say, forget it. I'm sorry, officer. I'm sorry for the trouble. The policeman looked at the illegitimate son and the mistress, and then looked at my cowardly appearance. Their eyes were full of pity. They came back a few times after that. Both the mother-in-law and the mistress sent messages and made phone calls, threateningly. They asked me to give them the money. They wanted me to give up the house. They threatened me and my parents. I saved all the money. Then I got a summons from the court. They sued me. First for manslaughter, because I left Ho alone at home, causing a gas leak. He Chao was killed. They want me to pay her $5 million in damages. The officers who were responsible for investigating the scene and the cause of death of He Chao have all appeared in court and submitted evidence, proving that He Chao's death was an accident. I didn't have any motive, ability, or time to kill. They lost the case. Secondly, they sued me for embezzling Ho's inheritance. I provided proof of my parents' financial contribution to the house, proof of my personal contribution, and the purchase contract, the loan contract, the property details printed by the housing authority. The property certificate is in my mother-in-law's hand. It proves that the property owner is He Chao and me, and the down payment belongs to my premarital property. At the same time, I provided my rental contract, Junior's rental contract, proving that I didn't live at home but was evicted. I was evicted from my home. Then I provided the insurance contract, proving that I'm the designated beneficiary. If the designated beneficiary dies, the insurance money won't be divided as an inheritance. And finally, I provided a copy of the police report on my mother-in-law's beating, and text messages from both of them threatening me during this period. What I didn't expect was, the police officer in charge of He Chao's case provided a document to the court. I guessed it was evidence of their intention to murder me. I cried in anguish. Mom, He Chao is gone. I'll take care of you as if you were my own mother. I'll pay you every cent you deserve. But why are you like this? I cried so hard. It moved everyone. Then their lawyer proposed, what should be the share of the inheritance that goes to the son? I said, I'm sorry. I didn't leave Ho to any children. But if that child is really Ho's son, he should get a share of the inheritance. So the judge asked the mistress to provide valid proof, proving that the child is Ho's real son. Then she can inherit part of Ho's estate. Grandma, he's my son's child. Judge, please show me the paternity test. Granny, I'm going to have the test done. Counselor, only immediate family members can do the test. That means only the child and his father can be tested for paternity. But Yi Chao was blown up into pieces. He was cremated after the case was closed. It's impossible for them to prove. It's impossible for them to prove that the child is Ho's biological son. The lawyer went through a lot of trouble to explain why, but the mother-in-law covered her ears and wouldn't listen. She only thinks he's her son's biological son. She must inherit her son's estate, and all of it. She even ran it in court. She said the lawyers and judges were all paid by me, just to get them killed. She was almost arrested. The court ruled that the $80 Daro in savings between me and Ho Chu is joint property. Half of it goes to me. The remaining 40 is to be divided equally among Ho's heirs. My mother-in-law and I each get 20 zero. I have 60 zero in total. 20 zero for my mother-in-law. The house we share in our names. The down payment is contributed by me and my parents. 70 of the total amount. It's my personal property before marriage. We don't participate in the division. After the marriage, the part of joint repayment and the part of appreciation. As the joint property of the couple, I share half of it. The rest I share with my mother-in-law. It cost $1.6 million when I bought it. $12 million was my premarital property. Now the house is worth $9 million. 780 are as joint property. After deducting the initial loan of 480 zero. After paying off part of the loan, there's still about 420 zero left. That means only about 360 zero as joint property. I'll take half of the 180 zero. The remaining 180 zero is split equally between me and my mother-in-law. 90 zero each. The car has depreciated and is worth only a few tens of thousands of dollars. As Ho's alimony to my mother-in-law, I didn't mind. In the end, I gave my mother-in-law 90 zero for the house and 20 zero for her savings. A car worth tens of thousands of dollars. She gave up the title to the house. She saw millions of dollars flying out of her hands. Naturally, they couldn't accept it. So they continued to appeal. And they came to me and refused to move out. Refused to cooperate with the application for interest on the house. The court enforced it. I succeeded in inheriting the house at minimal cost. I paid the mistress a few $1,000s for breach of contract. I sold the house for $140 through dollars. Then I sued mistress in court. I demanded to return the money during my marriage with Yi Chao. During my marriage with Yi Chao, he used the joint property to spend money for mistress, including a 100 yuan car, several designer handbags, gold necklaces, gold bracelets, gold rings, rent for her room, monthly living expenses, and so on. That's $250,000. I was kind. I waived $25. As Hokyu's legal wife, prove it with a marriage certificate. It's easy to go to the bank and pull his current. They've been on my case a lot, including, but not limited to, cursing, threatening, throwing insults. They beat me up at my door. To protect myself, I rented a house near the police station. No matter who came to my door, I pointed to the surveillance camera and said, "If you're not afraid of going to jail, come and beat me up." In the end, the court enforced it. My mother-in-law returned the money to me. They ended up with nothing. The mistress couldn't waste her youth here, so she stole the money from my mother-in-law. She left the baby and ran away. Then she came to me with the baby in her arms. She said I couldn't have children. She gave Yi Chao's child to me to raise. She told me to treat him as my own son. Otherwise, I'd have no one to inherit my wealth. I gave her 200 yuan. Like a beggar. She started scolding me again. I saw that she had lost a lot of weight and aged a lot. She looked tired. She'll be miserable for the rest of her life. I didn't sue her for causing me to miscarry and remain infertile. Firstly, there's no evidence. Secondly, if she goes to jail, she'd have food and shelter every day. It's so comfortable. She doesn't deserve it. The neighbors say I'm generous. I even gave a red packet to mistress's child. If it were them, they'd beat them out of the house. I sigh. The child is innocent. The neighbors exclaimed that I was kind. My old house has also been determined the way to pay for compensation. And the amount. It's over $4 million in total. Plus $7 million from the insurance. From the sale of the house. That's over $10 million for my family. I bought several houses for my parents. I used them to rent them out to increase their value. Part of it is in fixed deposits. Then I moved to a new place and continued to live a normal life. From the beginning to the end, I was the poor woman who was kind, even weak. Anyone who talked about my story would think I was a victim, bullied by my family. My husband cheated on me. My mother-in-law was vicious. Mistress came to my door to steal my property. I was too young to have children, and my husband died. I'm the perfect victim. I'm the perfect victim. End of story.